What could be more fundamental to being a woman than your ability to create new life and give birth to that life? And now apparently that's not good enough for the woke folks.
I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago, it was one of the left-leaning organizations, I can't remember if it was Planned Parenthood or Emily's List or one of these things, they tweeted out a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a quote about women, and they edited out the word women.
Yeah.
They removed women from Ruth Bader Ginsburg's quote and made it persons because apparently you're not allowed to say women. This is, and by the way, this is, look, they made votive candles out of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they are editing her statements for being insufficiently woke post-mortem.
Well, you know what they said? So what they did, the line that Ruth Bader Ginsburg said was a reproductive choice is essential to a woman's right in health and safety. And they changed the woman's right to people's right. So you've got all of those other birthing people who aren't women, I guess.
Okay. So I got to tell you, 2 weeks ago at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, Cory Booker, and Cory's a friend, he's a good guy. He was talking, and he's talking, this is on C-SPAN, it's a live public hearing, and he makes a reference to, I think he makes a reference to mothers. And then he stops and corrects himself and says, oh, I mean birthing people. And I went up to him afterwards on the Senate floor. I'm like, dude, really? Really? Are your people that nuts that saying mothers is unacceptable? And I won't say what he said because I'll keep his comments private. But
well, I have something to say to him. I gave birth 8 months ago, and I can assure you, I'm not a birthing person, I'm a woman. It is fascinating, though, to see this strain. I mean, first we had radical feminism, right? And which was kind of the man-hating strain. And now we have this new strain of wokeism that's actually trying to erase the very essence of womanhood. I mean, it ties into the Loudoun County story, how, they're saying, well, biological women don't really count. Anybody who identifies as a woman, maybe wears a skirt, counts as a real woman. And they're doing the same thing with those of us who give birth, women. I mean, what could be more fundamental to being a woman than your ability to create new life and give birth to that life? And now apparently that's not good enough for the woke folks.
I was there when Heidi gave birth to both our daughters, and I gotta say, I don't think there's a man on the planet that could go through that.
I said to my husband when my daughter was maybe 5 or 6 weeks old, it was right at the time that there was that hospital in the UK that was telling nurses to call it chest feeding and human milk.
What?
Yeah.
And I suggested to him about 3 or 4 a.m. that maybe he try out the chest feeding. And turns out that's just not possible.
You remember the Robert De Niro movie where he's the CIA agent and he's anyway, he says anything with nipples you can milk, and he says, I have nipples, can you milk me?
Forget a De Niro movie, it's Monty Python. I mean, there's actually, this is a Monty Python sketch. I remember when my baby was born, almost at the same time.
2 days apart, right?
2 days apart. I wanted to be really old school. I didn't even want to be in the room. I wanted to be downstairs in the lobby, smoking cigarettes like a guy from the 50s.
Tell me you were in the room.
I was guilted into being in the room. But it was very painful for me.
It is.
It was very painful to hear that.
It is an incredible, spectacular, holy crap moments. Like giving birth, I wanted to go home and just tell my mom, thank you.
I did actually do that. Afterward, I was like, how did you do that 5 times?